you are. We're live, and so you can go ahead and get started.
Sounds good. Hey, good morning. We're P&S here, Double Black Friday, SEMA 2022. Does SEMA ever really end, though? I mean,
It doesn't appear to.
no, I think it just keeps going, especially now that we're back, after a hiatus, is that it's one of those things when you do SEMA, it's like Air Force. We started detailing Air Force One. Jim Gogan and I would always look at each other and say, we're never doing it again, because the pace is pretty intense. But hey, today we've got a really great group of professionals. We have every day. It's all about these lectures. Today is going to be in harmony with technology within your business, but it's always about fun. And we're just talking up here about building other people up. And so we're going to go ahead and introduce our harmonistic cast of professionals today,
now.
right? Yeah. Here it goes.
It's like the Backstreet Boys with gray hair.
Yeah. Or no hair. So we're going to go ahead and start.
Bald Street Boys.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to start to, well, he's got a full head. So, how you doing up there? Oh, you're rocking full head.
Obviously,
Sorry
they're the lead
they're
singers.
the two pimples in the middle. So we're going to start at my left, your right, and introduce this team. And they're going to this is right where they're going to plug their company a little bit, because I think this is great because we've got so many great. This is just exciting. So go ahead, Michael, introduce yourself.
Right. Well, thanks, Renny. So I'm Michael Abens. I own the software development company that developed YourAble. So we developed YourAble specifically for this industry. I've been doing this kind of thing for a long, long time. I'm a car enthusiast, and that's why we got involved in this particular market. If I wasn't a car enthusiast, I would have built something else.
Right. This is an uphill battle. You guys. I thought I felt sorry for detailers until I got to know the struggles of technology companies. A quick story on how we met, and I'll do this with each one of you. But I go to an event that we didn't know each other going to be there. We didn't know each other at all. And I pull up to I'm in Pennsylvania. I pull up to this event, and there's this really cool freaking Audi R8 sitting out there, and it said YourAble. And I went, what the hell is a YourAble? And then
YourAble.
Yeah, I was like, that's a cool car, and I don't know what that is, but man, we're gonna find out.
It's the European Uber. That's what it is.
That's exactly it. Fancy. Then I was introduced to Michael and his daughter Chris, and I was blown away. Immediate connection. I knew that this was going to take and lift up the whole industry. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So next up,
I'm Rod, and I'm not driving the white Ford Bronco.
Yeah.
I'm Rod Puzey, one of the owners of RoadFS, and like Michael, we have a software company. We also develop software in the detailing industry. It's primarily because of my background, and I was in automotive for years. I was a mechanic and restored cars and did some paint and body work, and so that's why we got into the industry. Really, our goals are all the same. All of our goals are just to lift the detailing industry up and give everybody in the detailing industry the software and the technology they need to grow their business and to maintain it. And I'm just blown away at how many detailers are not doing things like charging for consumables and actually tracking the stuff. You've always said if you can't track it, you can't. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. If you can't track it, you can't see it. The data is worthless without having something to do with it. So really our impetus behind it is just trying to lift the industry up and get them to be more of a professional and use the technology to their advantage.
So Rod and I, again, introduction of how we met. So over 20 years ago, over 20 years ago.
I heard you had hair then.
We did. We both had
hair then.
Yeah.
And we had young kids. Now the kids are the age that we were when we met.
Yeah.
But we, a software company came in and they were really big into PDR and the hail chasers and all that. We were both based out of Idaho. And so we met. And we were doing some work. I was doing some kind of beta testing with them for the detailing industry. But then all of a sudden, we found out that our kids were in the same classroom together and went to school together. And we've had a friendship ever since.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty cool.
It was a weird connection because we didn't know each other and then ended up at a party with our daughters. So.
Yeah. And it was like, wow, this is unreal. So small world. Next and final contestant.
All right. So my name is Ryan Hagen. I'm with Detail Bookie. I'm actually the sales manager for Detail Booking. Dustin Jackson, who is the owner, the creator, the mastermind of it, is the quintessential overachiever. He's running an Ironman, so he's got his hands full with
cool.
training and everything. When I came on, it was when we actually came to market, and so day one. I've never, honestly, I don't want to say this in front of cars have never been a big thing. I'm not a car enthusiast. What I've always enjoyed.
Okay, can you give me the mic, please?
I'm sorry, I told you it was going to happen.
Yeah.
No, I work for a 401k company, and I sold 401k plans to small businesses. And so,
okay, never mind. You're back in the group.
That's, I found a passion for helping people, with their businesses.
Now you're rock solid in the group. Okay, you got it. Now we just got to convince you to be a car guy.
Yeah, no, I'm actually, I'm looking at them. Yes, sir. Good. Absolutely. I have to. It's what I'm talking about every day. Detailers, they still like talking about detailing, even when it's after hours.
Oh yeah, nonstop.
Yeah, it's a sickness. It's kind of an infectious.
It really
thing.
is.
It's in your skin. It comes from the chemicals, but
is that? Well, I haven't put enough time on a polisher to consider myself a professional. I do dabble. I'm learning. I'm picking up the craft, but my main focus is growing. Helping guys grow businesses.
That's awesome.
Putting processes in place that they can now take a step back, see their business from almost a bird's eye view, and it allows them to now see things that they can change and
that's awesome.
Improve.
Yep.
So again, going back to meeting you guys, is that Detail Mafia bookies?
I know.
There's kind of a draw there. It was like, hold on, man, can we join forces?
I was
already some money, right? And you guys are class acts, and we've all of you, and it's been an honor. So with that, let's go ahead and launch things. And again, I missed my printed version, but it's Friday. So the piece of paper.
I forgot my badge, man. I had to beg for forgiveness to get
in
here.
Oh, yeah. So it's Friday. So, there seems to be three lines of thinking within the industry when it comes to technology, not just software, but technology. Those who can't afford it, those who don't think they need it, and those that can't live without it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so let's talk about that. So we'll start to my right, your left, and we'll just come right down the line.
Absolutely. So it's a must these days. You have to have some sort of process automation that allows you to free up time and focus on the job. So many of the detailers on our software, they're in their shop, they're working, they're not just managing. So they have to stop what they're doing a lot of times when that phone rings. They don't want to miss the call, miss the potential client. And if you don't have some sort of organization tool, you might as well be in the Stone Age, and it really does help. And I get to watch guys level up within 3 to 6 months. They're either, hiring their first employee, they're putting on a second mobile unit, they're getting a bigger shop. And it all comes from just, the organization, being able to see everything in it makes a big difference.
So I tell the story is that when all the wars were going on in Afghanistan and Iraq, our National Guard was really being called up at heavy levels. So much so that in California, we've got a lot of big bases, right? We didn't have enough ranges. We were sending that many people into theater. And at that time, our daughter and our son were both serving the Marine Corps, and the National Guard had to go borrow ranges from the Marine Corps. So I'm going down, right? I have to become a range manager with the Marine Corps, which was not easy because I'm National Guard and it's difficult. Our daughter comes out to qualify when I'm there. When all of our National Guard personnel, they've got optics. Yeah. The Marine Corps doesn't, and they're coming out, and every Marine's a rifleman. And when they started taking and shooting and qualifying, we couldn't believe the difference between our soldiers and those Marines. Here's why: it's muscle memory.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we tell people, and this leads right into it, is that reluctant, this, that, everything else. But the reason is. The reason we always tell people one-man shop, I don't need a one-man shop. No, that's when you need it
that's
most.
Absolutely
exactly.
Need it
most, right? Yep. Because it gets you in tune to taking and doing things the right way constantly so that when you do start getting staff, it's already in place.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so cool. Okay, Rod.
I'm glad you brought those three people up because they're the same person and they just don't know which stage of their life they're in. The person that says I don't need it, they've got blinders on. It does so much for people. It gives you your weekends back, right? The guy that tells me I don't need it, I'm like, when do you do your invoicing? Midnight on Saturday. And it's like, would you like to have your weekends back? You know,
Right.
The person that can't afford it, it's ridiculous because all of us are so
There
dirt
is
cheap.
no one.
There's
Yeah.
no one that can't afford it. It's so
Yeah.
inexpensive to do
Right.
software these days. It's a fraction of one service. I have customers that actually roll the cost of the software into their services if they do dealership work. So
there
their
you go.
dealerships pay for it.
Smart.
And then the third person that they're growing and they need to understand that it will help them grow. It will help them keep track of inventory. It can help them have insurance. They can tell how much their cost is on their products. They can see what their people are doing, how efficient they are. I mean, all of us can go on and on for hours about the benefits, but I think looking at the loss of benefit if you don't have it, we all have a cell phone. Can you imagine going back to no cell phones at this point?
Right.
No,
Yeah,
the
good point.
same idea.
Good analogy with that. So, all right.
No, 100% what those guys are saying, and I think part of it is just the industry has to I guess forgive themselves for their past, right, and be willing to
Amen.
level it up, man. Like you're running a professional operation, you're charging professional level, prices for services. You should be running like a doctor's office,
Right.
man.
Absolutely.
It should be freaking the real deal, right? And you don't expect to go to a physician's office and not have that shit sorry.
You can
PG.
say that. No, it's not. The guys
You know,
are used to it.
But I
Used
mean,
to it.
it's an expectation, right? And that
Yeah.
should be the expectation that I think this industry just needs to give themselves a little break and get out of that old, I'm carrying a bucket and a sponge and it's a low barrier to entry to
We're
get into
way
the
past
market.
that.
It's like that's
Yeah.
leveled up, man. Everybody's doing ceramic coatings, PPF, great paint correction. It's like, come on,
You're spraying technology on a car now. You're doing your wash clay and coating it, or wash clay and protecting it with an SiO2 product, whether it's in a spray bottle or you're wiping it off. We're past that. We need to get past that. We need to get our mentality needs to change. Could you imagine walking into a dentist office and having them not organized? I wouldn't go in there. And yet we all want to make it that same level, but we don't want to act at that same level.
Yeah,
You know?
can you imagine walking to a dentist office and he pulls out a hand file
Yeah.
and a chisel and an
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
mirror?
Yeah,
and,
it's not gonna
I mean,
happen.
every other industry levels up with their technology as the industry grows.
Right.
And I think it's just time to kind of put to bed that whole, we don't need it. And it's not, it's not going to help me. It's not
Well, I
for me.
think one of the things that goes along with that too is just a recognition of the opportunity cost.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's something that at least we see. I don't know
Like that.
if you guys see it, but
Yeah.
a lot of the shops that we interact with, they don't know how to put a value on their personal time.
Mhm.
So, it's like if you're targeting to make $100 an hour and you're doing the thing, like you're doing your invoicing Saturday
Yeah.
night at midnight, it's
Right.
like, does that make it free? No, it's not
No.
free.
No.
Right. That is costing you that
That's right.
time to be able to do that. Wouldn't you love to be able to get to know your kids better?
Right.
Well, that brings a great point, because I have people all the time. I said, hey, what is your shop bringing in per hour? $100 an hour. So that's all including all your administrative time and everything else? Well, no. I said, so it's not bringing in $100 an hour.
Right.
If you take and the best way to look at this, whether you're a one-man operation, a one-person operation, or you got 100 people, is do you want to run as efficiently? Again, back to the Marine Corps. Why do they shoot so well? It's muscle memory. They do the same thing
Yeah.
over and over again. Our daughter could pick up a rifle right now, clear everything, and outshoot me because she's had that muscle memory
Yep.
trained into her.
Yeah.
So now the other thing that goes right into this is the smaller operators, whether it be a 1 or 2 or 3 person operation, is that you've got to look, if you use software to its fullest, because y'all have some amazing add-on services.
Mhm.
Y'all have some amazing add-on. Your systems do a lot if you take the time to set it up.
That's
You could have a part-time person for whatever the cost is per month. It's a part-time person that you pay one time, and it goes to work with you every single day, day in and day out. on automatic.
24/7, 365, never calls in late.
Yeah.
Never calls in
And I
saying
think
or
that there's
shows up late.
there's a fourth person you add on that list, and that's the person that's tried software for 15 days and goes, yeah, no, it's not. It
Not
didn't
for me.
work.
Right.
It's
Not for me.
No.
Hey, Michael, I just can't use
The
your
one is
system.
you get the free trial. I didn't have any time to do it. I was too busy.
Yeah,
I never even got into
It
it.
didn't work.
So-
Which is
so
why
that's
it didn't
what-
work.
So you
That's
have
what
to use, it's
always
like any other
happens.
tool, right? And I always use this analogy. If somebody comes out with a new tool and it's a 48-inch throw DA and the thing needs 15 hands to hold it tight, it may be really efficient, but it's going to take you a while to get used to it. But once you do, man, that sucker can cover some range, right? This software is no different. I don't care which software you're using. You're going to have to take the time, the 30 to 60 to 90 days to get used to it so that it becomes that memory, and then you cannot do without it.
Absolutely love it. So, okay, let's move on. So, where's software taking some businesses in our industry? Tell us about one story. Is there a story that you think of? You don't have to mention names if you don't want to, but is there somebody that you've really watched that maybe was that reluctant party? Maybe it was a small operator just starting out, and you watched them come up through the ranks. I'd love to hear that. So this time we'll start in the middle.
Oh,
We'll go over here, then we'll go back over there.
So yeah,
Yeah, you kick it off.
I have a great story. We had a gentleman a couple of years ago. Single bay shop could fit 2 cars end to end. A few employees. Started using the software and then started really doing a lot of the ceramic coatings, and approached us and said, hey, we've been doing this a couple of years now, and I want to buy my building. This building came available. It has another like 5 bays. I want to buy the building. Can you help me do that? So we simply went to the back, went to the reports, pulled out all the data for the last 2 years on all the ceramic coatings these guys had done, took that one sheet to the bank and was able to secure a loan for the entire building because he showed what he had done with the software. We just pulled it out. It took literally like 15 minutes.
You know, I ask people, I say this all the time, and it's changed. This isn't a slam against anybody, but is that they'll say, hey, what's it take to become, or they'll say, I'm a master detailer. And I'll say, really? Do you own a house? No. Do you own your building? No. You're not quite a master yet. And I hate to say that, but software is going to help you. Not that owning stuff, but at some point, listen, you're 21, I get it. You're building your way up. You live in New York City, I get it. But for the rest of the world, you've got to be thinking that way. And if you're you just nailed it, because you're not going to be able to get, working capital loans. You're not going to be able to get real estate loans unless there's proof of the pudding.
Yeah.
And what's that software doing for that? So
And you're not bringing in a Google Calendar to the bank.
No,
for that.
No, look at how busy I am.
Thank you.
Yeah. That doesn't prove anything. And now, tying into to the software, all your QuickBooks, and then tying that into
Yeah.
where your bookkeepers can get a hold of it, and then your CPA can get a hold of it. What you don't realize is when you've got good software and you guys all spend a huge amount of time with your customers, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
All the
time.
All day long.
All
every
day long. So there's no excuse not to have your software working in harmony with your company. Now all of a sudden, guess what? When your bookkeepers have to do less and your CPA has to do less, they can do more on wealth building. And that's where a lot of people aren't going. So let's go to you on that question there.
All right. Well, so these are awesome events, by the way, because we've got so many users at this point. It's a good chance for me to meet people for the first time, right? So we had a couple of guys come up to the booth, and right away I recognized who they were. And there are a couple of heavy hitters, right? So the one guy, he just came up and gave me a freaking bear hug. I'm glad I didn't have a broken shoulder.
Right.
His business, and I get this now, just wrap your head around it. Everybody out there, this is what the potential is, right? So this guy starts a business 2 years ago from zero, 2 years.
Yep.
He connected up with another one of our pro users in the private group who coached him on how to do things. And this guy knew right off the bat, this dude is going to be a killer. So he said, I want to buy 30% of your new business that you're getting started. He gave me a hug and he said, dude, you changed my life. We're doing $400,000 a month.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So just wrap your head around that.
I got to go. Is he taking applications?
Maybe he's got like 50 employees now, but it's insane. And he's
crazy.
like, this would have never been possible if we didn't have a backbone of a system.
Let's dive into that for a second. Now, if he's not managing that, and he is managing it,
You're not
he's
doing that in
much.
your head.
No.
Paper
no.
calendar.
But here's the other thing: is that you look at that, you look at the amount of growth on that. I'm going to tell you right now, man. 10 years ago, there was a handful in the world that was turning anything close to that. A small handful in the world that was even doing that. 20 years ago, there
2
was
years.
nobody.
2
years.
years from zero.
Yeah.
2 years.
And I think that's a big indication of the detailing industry of if you're doing it right and you have the right path.
The potential for life, like really good life-changing money, is absolutely there. But you got to do it like you mean it.
So here's the other side of this. This is where I always go. Is there hasn't been a business that I've started or had or owned that I didn't sell or will sell at some point. We don't have any legacy. Our kids all think I'm crazy. They're not following me into this thing, right? And so with that, all this how old is this person? What's his age range?
Oh man, I didn't ask him that, but if I had to guess, he's like 35.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
He is. I
So-
think he's right at 35 or 36.
So check this out. That person in another 15 years, what's that business going to be worth with all that track working on not just one set
Well,
of
it
software?
goes to the next shop, the next
That's
shop, the next
exactly
shop,
it.
and so
Exactly.
it's going to soon be in Texas.
He could be one of the first detailing companies that they have a huge organization, financial organization buy them. I mean, that's some serious, and there's
that's real money.
That's real money. There could be a hedge fund. There could be all kinds of things that go. Now you're opening up yourself to hold something else. But he doesn't have one set of software managing. He's got his software. He's got his QuickBooks, his accounting system, plus what his accountants are pulling off of that. Yeah. He's got triple proof of what he or she's doing. That's
he
amazing.
had the realization right off the bat. And remember, he's starting from zero.
Man.
But he had the realization that I need to spend money to be able to make money.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Right. So he recognized that right off the bat. He wasn't interested in I want to, I'm using QuickBooks or I'm using, a Google Calendar because it's free.
Right.
It's that's the most expensive way you can possibly run your company.
But then the next thing out of his mouth is, or not him, but people is, hey, bro, I want to do $200 an hour, man. Well, you know what? Get rid of the freaking Home Depot vacuum, get rid of the freaking bucket, get rid of all the crap in your life. And you got to start tracking your business, every aspect of your business. Don will tell you, I live on my app. You know how long it takes me to check my financials? I do it. I don't take a day off. I have to work five seconds on Saturday and Sunday because I want to check my financials. It takes me 5 seconds to do it. And then I'm off the rest of the day.
Nice.
All right. Answer to that. Is there a story that you really dig about somebody you've watched the whole growth?
Oh, well, absolutely. So, I'm sure you guys all know Billy Smith with Akron Pro Detail.
Mm-hmm.
He did primarily commercial detailing, for different car lots, and he had those, had been doing them for years and years. But he really wanted to kind of, get into the retail side of things and start doing more with the storefront. And he literally will tell you that he tattooed our logo on his
right.
It took me a year of pestering to say, to get him to finally get it set up. And now, he would tell you absolutely, I couldn't have done it without it. And it's so humbling to even, to realize that they say your software is the reason that I was able to make that next leap.
That's crazy.
And I think the big key to this is that you've got the 3 softwares that are really made for this industry. There's other software in the world, but we really, all 3 of us, focus on the detailing industry. And every one of us is focused on the customer service. And we all have a Billy, and I know who you're talking about, and we have those guys as well. And it's because the key, and I was actually at your booth yesterday talking to a guy that was talking to you, and I told the guy that was talking to him, I said, you need to listen to Ryan. He's going to help you out. He's going to help you run your business.
There you go.
Find the company that fits your style.
Mm-hmm.
It might be You're Able, it might be RoadFS, it might be Detail Books.
I told him to
find
definitely try RoadFS as well.
Yeah, find the one that fits your needs. Because I know you've had guys who come in and looked at your stuff and been like, yeah, that's not for me. And they're probably over here and vice versa.
Absolutely.
It has to fit with your particular thing. It's like any product, right?
Yeah.
It's got to fit your needs.
Hey, so when you're talking products with these guys, you just tell them there's only one product.
There's only one
just
product
double black,
company,
would you?
That's right.
I'm just kidding, by the
DNS
way.
Double Black.
So, we have a guy, a lot of people won't know this name. You will next year at this show, Jamie Buchanan.
Oh, boy.
And there's going to be History Channel. They're filming it right now. Jamie just filmed 20 episodes for the History Channel. And it's all about detailing.
Wow, get out of here.
And so they approached us, and I said, hey, they told us what they're looking for. We couldn't really fit it out, what they're doing out west. It was a southern thing. So I had Jamie do a video, and if you guys all remember Vern, hey Vern, what are you doing? Well, that's Jamie, and he is a riot. The guy's fully sleeved. He's a youth pastor on the side. He gives back a ton. He's a ton of fun. He doesn't know. He's got friends wherever he goes. You come across an aisle and you smile at him, he's going to come back and start a conversation. But here's a guy that took a business when I met him, and I said, hey, the first thing you got to do, dude, you got a good business. You're at $800,000 a year. You got to take software up on this thing, man. You got to track it. And he goes, I'm digging. So next thing I know is he calls me back up and he goes, I'm softwared up. And he says, how do I get to 2 million? And so that was about 4 or 5 years ago, man. He's way north of that now, Absolutely. And the first thing that he had to do is software up. Well, now he owns his building. He's got a TV show. I mean, I told him, hey, I'm going to quit all my jobs. I'll just be your security at SEMA next year,
Yeah. But so, I don't know why it is. And I mean, maybe you guys have some ideas around this, but I mean, all of us combined, we're scratching the surface in terms of market penetration in this industry.
Yeah.
So it's a really difficult thing. I mean, there's no reason for us to really compete with one another. We're competing with the community, right? We're trying to get, people to, get away from the idea that, I use Google Calendar because it's free. No, it's not. And you're not going to do $400,000 a month if you're not going to level it up, right?
Right. Exactly.
Well, what you guys are doing is, you're actually taking and you're planting seeds and growing the industry for all of the software, because you are scratching the surface in the same. That's what I tell detailers in the same market. We've got 3 Detail Mafia members in one small Oregon town, 50,000 people, and they are all killing it. Why? They are developing new detailing clients.
Right.
And so you guys are developing new professional detailers, business owners, entrepreneurs.
I find myself in a mentorship, role from time to time with the younger guys that, don't have any structured pricing. And so with our software, we actually give you a copy of our pricing and, all of our packages and services. You can use that to customize your packages. You can, completely start from scratch, but for the folks that don't really have it down, I mean, it's a
good starting point.
Oh, this one kid. I'm sorry, Coach. This is my favorite story. This one kid, he started a free trial. Within 2 days, he said, "I'm leaving it just like it is. I want to go." And so, first time he gave the link to a lady, she about an hour later booked a job. And not only did she schedule the full detail like they talked about, but she added on a ceramic coating.
There you go.
This is 2 days into this guy's trial, okay?
Yep.
And funny thing was, he didn't actually know how to do ceramic coatings. He just was trying to gauge if there was a market. Yeah.
He might have wanted to read that fine print a little better.
Honestly, what we are all business consultants is what we are. Software companies are business consultants. We're trying to help you raise your business to the next level with the sole intention of you to continue to use our software. If there's no hidden agenda, there's no hook. It's just keep using our software and we'll help you do whatever you do. And I think it's just a matter of each industry has their own niche things, but everybody's different. If you go to Jamie Buchanan's shop, Jamie's one of our clients and we were there last week with him. And Jamie is so unique, and so is every detailer. And I think that's what you're going to find is some detailers hate dealer work. Some detailers love dealer work. Some detailers hate exotics. Some detailers love exotics. So you got to find that niche where you go, and then you have to level up with the pricing and figure out what works in your market. There's a guy in Boise, Idaho, and he goes to the dealer, and there's one dealer that will only give him $75 per car, period.
Jesus.
So guess what he does? I'm washing the car, $75. I'm doing this, $75. Oh, the bumper needs repainted, $75. And he's got 5 invoices on a single car. But that's the kind of the way our industry works is you have to find what works for you and then fit into it.
I dig it. Okay, next question. This is, we come in direct contact with our 5-day trainings. Our 5 days really brings a pretty high level of entrepreneur into it. I mean, we just had a gentleman sit in a seat this year that was an Ivy League college educated attorney, and he's an attorney for Allstate Insurance Company. And about 3 days into it, we're sitting there talking, and I asked him, so I said, really, why are you here? And he goes, I was so proud of myself to go to the college I did. I was so proud of myself to get, to pass the bar, become an attorney. I was so happy to go to work for a big company like this, and I hate it. And he says, I'm a car guy. I want freedom. I don't want handcuffs on. I don't want to be enslaved to a job. I've had enough. I want to enjoy life. We don't know how many years we have. and he pushed through. That's a high level of entrepreneur. That guy knows he's highly educated, right?
Right.
Those are the people we've got in. We also have people that start out like many of us with nothing. But here's a common question. This is going to go. I hear it over. We have over probably 150 people that we have contact with between our 1 day and 5 days. I hear this whole time. On mobile, I don't need software, and it's really not. It's not going to be helpful. The second one we hear is, "Hey, I've been doing this for 10 years in my shop. Why would I need software?" So let's answer that. So this time we'll start over with you.
Sure.
So the mobile, what do you say to that?
Okay.
What's the mobile side of this?
Well, we really wanted to be able to free up time for the detailer. We wanted the customer to have the absolute best experience possible when it comes to scheduling a job. And so we've really focused on our online booking platform. And we are able to now, by breaking it down. I mean, we need 3 components to price a detail. The size of the vehicle, what's the current condition, and what are your expectations. If we can figure out those 3, then coming up with a price it's going to be, at least a starting price. It's doable. And so then you give them a full list of add-ons. A lot of these guys might not be the best salesperson. And so can you imagine trying to read off 15 add-ons on the phone with someone, and they check out. But if they're sitting on their couch and they're playing with it on their phone and they see it, oh, well, this and this, and next thing you know, they're booking the job at 3:00 in the morning and paying a deposit. You've never talked to them before. That's what I say is the end game. When you have that happen, I actually demand all of our customers call me when that happens, just so I can get that that's what I love, the passion. They're like, oh my God, it happened. It changes business for them now. They don't have to work for every single job.
Right.
A lot of people don't necessarily need to talk to their detailer.
Yeah, some of it's coming on automatic. It's just automatic.
We make everything transparent. Everything is extremely transparent. We guide you
It's
into
on
the
auto
package.
ship. It's like buying a detail on auto ship. So, Jody, what do you guys say?
So really, mobile is the guy that's the opposite. The mobile guy really needs it because the windshield time is killing you. You're not in the office. You're not able to answer the phone. So the software is doing the work for you. They can go and look at it. If let's say that I'm a one-man shop. I just started. I'm doing details out of my Honda. You can look as professional as the guy that has a brick and mortar and 3 bays because the mobile software legitimizes you and it makes it easy to go in and schedule a job. And hey, Mrs. Jones, thanks for calling. We'll get right back to you. And your windshield time is no longer wasted. It's now actually productive.
Yeah, I got sidetracked with the mobile part of my answer. But you're absolutely right. When you get their information, when you get their address, charging a remote, fee. Being a mobile detailer, hey, when they say I'm just a mobile detailer, well, do you realize you're offering the premium luxury service?
Yeah.
Detailing is a luxury service, premium luxury. So why would you not charge for that?
We just shared with a young man. He walked up, and his dream is to get out of the mobile into a shop and shut his mobile down. I said, let me tell you why. I started every operation we had, all 6 locations mobile. We never stopped offering mobile because it was the premium service. So we'd always tell people, we'd give them a price. Let's throw a price out of $600. It was $800 if they wanted that same service mobile.
Absolutely.
And so it was a big part of it. So
the mobile guys, I mean, it's like, how many times have you written a letter and then you have to go back and proofread it and you realize how many things you missed. When you're on your own and you're that mobile operator, man, you need a freaking SOP for yourself. That's your double check, man. So it's all about, that consistency in delivering the process. You don't have anybody that's watching over you to make sure, did I get the door jams? I don't freaking know. I don't remember. This is the 5th car I've done today. It's so easy to just kind of just get in the zone and forget. And then your level of service and delivery to the customer starts slipping. You got to have something that has your back. And I know, all of us have, checklists or SOPs or whatever it's going to be. And when you're on your own, man, you need that person. You need to have it to back you up.
Yeah. It's a double check for
yourself.
So here's an amazing encounter I had so we had a backup generator put in our property. And so we had to naturally have electricians come out and do some work. And all of a sudden today, they had taken and we set the appointment up. They're coming out and starting on a Monday, and Friday I get a text, and it's a reminder.
Yeah.
And it said, hey, hit yes to confirm. I went, well, yeah. So Monday comes around about 7 in the morning. It says, hey, your technician's en route.
Yep.
And they are an hour and 30 minutes away. And it goes, track your technician. And I went, well, hell yeah. And it was so convenient
There you go.
to know that people. So is that an option? Do you guys have that option?
Yeah,
in your
100%.
software?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And it's not going to be an hour and a half. It's going to be, they'll be there in 23 minutes.
Right.
Exactly.
And so, and it did, but it kept popping up on my screen telling me. And then when I hit track, it says your technician's 5 minutes out. And then all of a sudden it came up and it says your technician has arrived, and it shot a picture up of him. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, that is cool. You know?
But look at that from a customer experience.
Oh, I
Right?
loved it. I was ready.
Yeah.
I felt like I knew the guys. I was inviting them over to Thanksgiving dinner. You know, I was like, this is cool. You know,
And that's like our notes. You can use the customer note, which would show up on every ticket for that particular customer. So let's say we have one of those customers might be a little bit of a jerk, you know, and their money spends great, right? But we don't want to be surprised that with the, you know, a day ruiner. So we can put a note on there that says, hey, this customer is kind of picky or whatever. The one customer, one of our detailers, the guy said his grandson's birthday was in April, just in conversation. He wrote that note in there.
Yeah.
And then when
Absolutely.
April called around, he said, hey, how's your grandson's birthday? You know, that's the customer.
Oh,
that
yeah.
moment right there for that customer is just,
you know,
Something else.
we're we got 5 dogs, 2 horses. Diane killed off a couple of our fish, so we have about 18 fish instead of 20. Yeah, but we, you know, I used to write down our customer's dog's name because when somebody remembers my dog's name, I'm like, well, yes, it is. Hey,
Absolutely.
that's Boomer, you know, and I've had probably 20 people ask about Boomer at the show, and it just always lights me up. But those little key notes that you'll be able to do, those little add-ons, that separates you. You want to be able to charge more? Well, you better be doing more.
Yeah. That's the hook that you have to your customers that is invaluable. There's no price you can put
Right.
on I'm going, hey, Renny, how's Boomer doing? And having that customer go, I will never leave that guy.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, the reminders, the notes, the notifications, anything you have that does that tie into your customer is invaluable.
My buddy Michael, this guy's world renowned on relationship management. He's coming in and training the mafia tomorrow, and he calls it customer Velcro.
Yeah,
and
that's a good term.
I mean, it's and he speaks of it in his book, and he's going to go over it tomorrow. But
Well, the other thing it lets you do, once you get like start to create that very professional and personal connectivity with your clients,
Yeah.
that gives you the license to raise prices.
It does.
exactly
Yes,
it.
Right?
absolutely.
Everybody's got the ability to do it because now there's much more value in that interaction.
You know,
right?
I'm going to share a great. You brought something up, Michael. I'm going to share a great story. Chris has heard this. One of our mentors shared it. Is that he's a multi-millionaire and he loves sushi, and they go to this one sushi place once or twice a week and bring it home, right? And he's pretty close to billionaire status, and he's young. I don't know if he's 40 yet.
Wow.
And so he's pretty close to billionaire status. So his wife's exactly. So his wife goes and gets their favorite sushi. They bring it back, and what had happened was there was a note in the box and it says, "Hey, because of rising cost and inflation, is we've changed some of the ingredients in our food." And he goes, "It went from the best sushi I've ever had in my life to some of the worst." He says, "Instead of changing the ingredients, they should have changed their price."
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Lesson
Yeah,
learned.
absolutely.
Lesson learned. Okay. Favorite key feature. We're going to start right here. In your software, you got something that stands out that you just love. One feature that just stands out of them all.
I mean, maybe it's just the timing of it all, but the proposal feature seems to really be killing it right now for the community. So, you know, it's kind of an in-between way of driving the patient, I'm such a healthcare guy.
Yeah, you're coming out of the healthcare
driving
industry.
the customer,
Well, detailers, we are kind of nuts. So depending on,
but it's kind of, steering the customer within a certain range of bookends and then giving them the feeling like they've got the control. So it's not the wide open Wild West of like an online booking thing, which we offer too. And that's going to be great for some people, but some people, they want to feel like, give me fewer choices, right? So you kind of throw some bookends on it and then just let them add on additional services. And everybody swiped these freaking toggles and you just took a job from being a $1,500 job to a $2,500 job.
I've heard no fewer than probably 20 craftsmen this week say, "Yeah, I just got a proposal accepted."
Yeah.
So that's a great point.
Yeah, they're loving it.
Any one key feature?
I think it's yearly. Yearly, there's a key feature. When these guys arrived on the scene, all of a sudden we became online scheduling. I think the reminders is my favorite. The reminders and notifications, because it's a touch point to your client that there's no way you could pay somebody enough to sit in a chair and touch every client. I mean, if you had to pay somebody and go, okay, now Chris, I want you to go back and find every client that we've done a ceramic coating in the last 6 months, and then remind them to come in for their follow-up.
Right.
That is, you can't pay somebody enough. But when the system just automatically sends out a notification and says, hey, come back to the shop, they're booking jobs without even thinking about it. That's so
Absolutely.
notifications and reminders.
I dig it. Ryan, what about you?
I mean, you're right on right there. So we actually have a 30-day follow-up marketing campaign for estimates. You come to our booking site, you get an estimate, you don't book right away. 24 hours later, you get the first message. Hey, so-and-so detail shop holding on to your estimate. Click the link below to view and schedule, and you can pay the deposit. Day 10 rolls around and, throw some personality. Hey, still riding dirty. We're ready to get you cleaned up. Click the link below. Day 17, we offer a 10% discount code. We book jobs on day 17 and 27 all the time. And all we give up is 10% because your estimate has abandonment issues and it misses you. This is over 2 weeks after the initial interest. Most detailers aren't following up that thoroughly, and they're not getting those jobs at day 17.
So we got a couple of our guys. I'm going to jump in here. They're using your system, and I like what they're doing. Is that they're doing that exact thing. Is they're doing the follow up, and then a week or 10 days later, 17 days later. But what they're doing is instead of a discount, they're giving an add-on service. Hey, just for a limited time,
nice.
We're going to take and throw in a glass coating.
I
I like that because it's not a discount.
Well,
I don't like I don't like discounts.
but when you see the way that it's the original price is strike through and it's got the new price, and then at the bottom there's a total and they see $150. Oh my God, that's a huge savings. It's a big one, but it's like a $1,500 job, $1,600 job. Yeah, you would give up that $150
cool,
for the
man.
$1,600.
So how cool is this? Look at the excitement right here. And this just didn't exist. It did exist, though. People say it didn't exist. Is that, we had Diane, our little shop was not much bigger than our garage. We did a lot of jets. We were doing $1.3 million. You'd been up there. I mean, it was an unbelievable. I mean, this place is
beautiful.
This place is unreal. It's got a lot of dough running around. But, they talk about, well, I don't have a big enough shop. You got a plenty big enough shop. You just got to make do with what you got. Hey, well, I don't have the market, man. We had 30,000 people in our market. We found the money. Wherever there's an excuse, we could have not done this without software. We just couldn't have done it. And so now by that standard, so let's go into this one too. So the Carfax add-on, okay, is, we've gotten involved with a lot of the coating companies that have done this. You guys are doing this now. What's the value to being able to, because I know some people still they're applying a ceramic coating in a car, but they're not reporting it. And so what's your guys' we'll start in the middle this time.
Yeah. I think it's like every detailer in the world. Some of them just don't see the value of it, and that's okay. I'm not going to try to push them into it, but if they see the value and they realize, oh wow, my client, it's a value for their client, and I think that's the thing to get them over is by reporting it, your client benefits from it. Quick story on that is we had a client that went through, they'd done a ceramic coating, they'd reported and everything. They kept a hold of the receipt from our client. They crashed the car. They had a mild, ran into a post or something. Anyway, they took it to the insurance company, showed them the Carfax and showed them the receipt from our software. They reimbursed the detailer for the whole job. And the detailer was like, I'm in forever because the insurance company pays for it. So there's an intrinsic value, but what it is the detailers have to have the mentality that I'm going to benefit my client and not just themselves.
Not you, the client.
Yeah, it's the client.
So let's go over here.
Yeah, no, right. He's absolutely 100% right. So the Carfax thing, it's nice because it gives a detailer the chance to co-brand with a really big, nationally known brand.
Great point.
So that is a nice little connectivity that kind of gives them a little moxie in their local market, right?
I did.
So that's nice, and then it's the benefit to the end user. You're doing it so that they can show a pride of ownership in their car and get a higher price when they go to resell the thing.
Yep.
That's
it.
I dig it. Ryan?
We are actually working on it. I don't know if you guys have dealt with cell phone providers changing a lot of rules, and they're basically wanting every customer to have a registered business number, and it needs to, be signed up for marketing plans so that they're not, links in a message if you have misspellings, just things like that'll automatically trigger the spam. We've had to, really just pull off of everything we were doing because everyone has their own individual number. And the last thing you can have happen is someone not receive those texts. And now that number is kind of, we're two-way texting. Like if the customer texts back something, you receive that. But no, we see the value now, but it always the reasoning, because I've, trying to understand it myself, because the guy, in my town does it. And I want to be able to offer it because he offers it.
There's, I'll give you a good illustration of how this works. Is we had a car, I sold a car. It's, we've heard it a million times. Got my car back in 2019, and the market went crazy. It was a lease, and I actually got back. The car didn't cost me anything. I mean, it was the monthly payments only, and I wrote those off because it was a lease, right? Yeah. But so when I traded it back in, they had a couple little concerns, and so Diane goes, "Well, it's coded," and they pulled the Carfax up on it, and they go, "Never mind." And all the other little dings they're trying to take away, because straight out they told Diane, "We can charge probably $2,000 more than what we thought because the car was coded," and here it did. It popped right back up.
Wow, that's awesome.
Okay, so here we are. We're going to wrap this up. So, open-ended question. Okay, just open-ended, all of you. What are we missing? What's something that we didn't talk about today that you want to share? That would be a good discussion point that maybe a lot of entrepreneurs don't talk about. So Ryan, we'll lead in with you. We'll come right back this way.
Something that we've kind of been, I'd say, battling with, but we're trying to find a solution to, is working with marketing companies. Marketing companies have had the way that they market is they have you fill out a lead form, and that's how they gauge how well they're doing for you. A lead form creates more work for the detailer, because they have to still call that person when they have time, and it's usually at the end of the day, family time. So if we, if we can get that lead form filled out, plus get your address for mobile, plus get your vehicle information, plus get an idea of what you're looking at, and then, have that call, it just makes it so much easier. So how do we figure out, basically it's going to be building in an integration where the information maybe on those lead gen forms goes ahead and populates it in there. But there's so much more, to getting an estimate. It's that estimate follow-up, that's huge. That doesn't really kind of happen if that's not the process.
Yeah, I agree too. And it's, somebody as a consumer right now, we kind of missed the mark. We had a business summer. We're completely redoing our backyard, not really doing it. We're doing it because it was never done when we bought the property. But to get where companies are really failing at is in the follow-up. So I put in to get some information from somebody online. This is a probably $20,000 investment. Mm-hmm. It took them 2 weeks to do a follow-up, and it was a horrible follow-up.
It's so typical.
It was just, I was so disappointed, and then I couldn't really remember it. It had really turned me off by that time. And I was like, I'm over it. I'm over it. So Jody, you're up.
It's Rod, but that's okay.
Rod, sorry.
You're good.
Sorry.
Call me Dustin.
We're almost one person.
You are.
So I
would add something to that, but last night you kind of were.
I know.
That's okay. Never story.
I think the one thing people are missing is they have to use it. I think a lot of times we get clients that come in and they're like, okay, sign me up and then make the magic happen. And they have to be all in. I can't go buy a polisher and then not use it. If it sits on the shelf, it does me no good. I can't get certified in ceramic coating and then never do a ceramic coating. So you can't buy software and not use it. I don't know how many times you guys have dealt with the 15-day trial and they never logged in once.
Yep.
And then said, well, your software didn't work for me. And that is, don't have an excuse. Just use the software. Get in there and use it, and use us. Get a hold of us, text us, call us. That's what we're here for. Okay. Implement that software, but do everything you can to make it work for your company.
I did.
We're unlike any other company. I think the fact that if we see that you're not using the software and you're paying for it, we literally look. If you're not going to use it, then stop paying for it.
Yeah.
It does us no good. It does you no good to spend money on software you're not using.
Our mentor group is that we pay a pretty hefty fee to get coached by these two guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they did a follow-up months ago, and they're like, how are we doing? I said, well, you guys are doing great. And I left it there, and they go, well, that doesn't sound too positive. I said, no, I'm doing horrible. I said, you guys are engaging me. I'm not engaging you. Mm. And they said, well, are you going to end your subscription? I said, no, I've got to get engaged. And every time I see that invoice come across, so both of us have gotten a lot more engaged since a simple follow-up call engage us more. So,
Oh, yeah.
hey, Jody, thanks a lot for the follow-up. I appreciate it. Hey, that's a compliment. He's a good-looking dude. He's kind of cute. He's
Wow.
kind of cute.
Well, I'm glad he's
Mike
likes Jody and not Ron.
So I mean, we touched on it earlier, but I think one of the things that's being missed, I think generally in the marketplace, there's always going to be the group that and the small percentage that seek us out,
Yeah.
because they get it, right?
Yeah, oh God, those are the best.
But I mean, I've got a mentor, and I still have a mentor, even at my
Absolutely.
age,
Oh, you never stop that.
And I was telling him how well we're doing, and he said, I'm really happy for you guys, but you sound like you're not helping the people that need the help the most. They're the ones that don't get in and through the process to actually split up. They don't have the time. So he's like, what are you doing for those people? I'm glad you're doing well, but what are you doing for those people that can't get out of their own way? So that's the next business challenge that, I've got. And I push us all to kind of think about that.
Oh, I can tell you how we solved it.
We're probably
harassment. I harass them. I call them every day.
Combined are probably 5% market
Yeah,
share.
absolutely.
It's absolute
Yeah, I think
insanity,
that's
Tiny,
probably
right?
yeah.
Tiny.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
But look at how much it's grown. I mean, so what was it back then?
Honestly,
point.
I wouldn't be here today, and we wouldn't have created You're Able if it wasn't for the fact that I was having lousy experiences as a customer.
Yeah.
If my shops that I was dealing with were using, their software back in the day, I would have built something for healthcare.
It's my
right?
fault.
We wouldn't even be here.
Well,
no, but
I was going to say
it
the
goes
same.
to the point that it's not penetrated enough. So that goes to the fact that people don't understand the value of their own time, because it's a no-brainer. The ROI is ridiculous. It's off the charts, right? And like thousands of % ROI.
Yeah.
Right. You don't need a calculator for any of this, right?
No.
I mean, all
Just
our
add a bunch of
systems are a
zeros
couple
behind it.
bucks a day to run your company.
Right.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, the one argument anytime I hear that argument at all, you can shut it down in one sentence. You pay $100 a month for your cell phone, and it does nothing unless you put an app on it.
Yeah.
So the ROI is there. It's cheap. It's part of one service in one day. You've got
You pay for a year.
Yeah, it's
You pay for a
ridiculous.
year.
And then take that one step further. Your cell phone's useless unless you use it.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, and this is a powerful tool. You can run your whole social media, your whole media empire off of our phones. You can run your whole financial
You run
empire.
your company off your phone.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
it's just like with software. If you don't use it and you don't use it to its full potential, you're not going to reach your full potential.
Right.
So, hey, gentlemen, thank you very much. Let's go down real quick. Ryan, we'll start with you. How do people get a hold of you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. So you can check us out on Facebook under Detail Bookie. We also do a podcast called Play by Play every Friday at 11:30 Central Time. We talk to industry folks. Our customers are always fun, shows. And we're at all the trade shows. But go to detailbookie.com. It's your 14-day free trial. I'm saying, if you give us the time within that 14 days, I'm gonna have the software pay for itself. That's my mission, my goal, and I'm gonna do everything. You got me for free for 14 days. I know the value of my time, and that's
Chris,
why.
note that we have some tasks for him.
Yeah.
So 14 days, we'll take a free trial. And we'll work his ass off. So.
Well, I mean, but it's I get it. You have to show them the thing that solves the pain point, and the second they see it, it flips that switch.
That's exactly what's changed in the last decade, is you guys being so involved, and that's a big change. So, Rod, how do they get a hold of you guys?
Roadfs.com, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, every social media platform. We also have detailed memoirs on YouTube. So RoadFS detailed memoirs on YouTube. Rod Puzey or Jody Cedric everywhere.
There you go, Michael.
Yep. YourAble.com. You can go out there, book your 30-day free trial. You can hit the little book a demo button. That'll get you a one-on-one live video tour, typically with my daughter, although we just hired my niece too, so she's coming on board. Kept it all in the family.
What a dynamic duo too. What great kids.
Oh yeah, they're both great kids. And I don't know if you all know, but we've been shooting a documentary series called Your Story. And this is not kidding around. The film crew and production staff that we use, they just won their second Emmy Award. So we travel all over the country, meeting with our customers and leaders within the industry to really document their entrepreneurial journey. So look at that stuff at YourAble.com under the Your Story tab.
And you guys do a great job with that too. I know y'all put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, well, we got a great one that's going to drop next week. No, like seriously, nobody wants to miss that because that's the story that I think resonates with the bulk of this industry. Is somebody who was in a tough situation, young, you know,
Yeah.
and
I know the story.
they saw their way through it, you know,
Nice.
and now they came out
Boy.
the other end, and it's all about being a beacon of light for
Right.
everybody
Nice.
else.
That's
Awesome.
yeah. I get teary eyed because seeing your way through it. You know, I had somebody come up early this week and they're like, God, I mean, it's got to be great to be in your position. I said, it is. I mean, being Renny Doyle is not a bad thing at SEMA, right? But you don't know the struggle and the hardship and the pain and the cost and the loss and believe it or not, the loneliness,
Mhm.
you know, at times, even today is that, you know, but going back to the struggle as a kid, it was so innocent that I love the underdogs. You know, when you show me an underdog, I'm going to gravitate to that, you know. But I've also learned to really appreciate the people that have come up in a different life than I had that jumped into this purely for passion, you know,
Mhm.
because that's what you did coming out of the industry. You didn't have to do this. You wanted to do it. And I want an appreciation for that because they changed all, especially mine, you know. So many people are role models, you know. Here I am, 56 years old at the filming of this, but I've got all, and not all of them are my age or older. A lot of them are younger. When we say that our
Yeah.
younger generation's a piece of crap, I disagree totally. I think we've got some real gems out there.
Mhm.
Our kids, you know,
Yeah.
our kids are just real gems. Might not always agree with them, but they're gems and they're great people. So
I enjoy nothing more than literally showing someone their own value.
yeah.
And you know, and it's just an amazing feeling. That's what does it for me.
Yeah.
I just was talking to a young man and his wife right before we got on, and you know he's amazing. They're in their early 30s. They own a home, and I said, you know, as a young father, their little girls, you know, are just adorable. And I said, as a young father, the biggest thing I can tell you is that your kids want you to be there. I never worked Sundays. I refused. My kids always knew that I was going to be stable on Sundays. And he said, yeah, I learned that about 4 or 5 years ago, and I won't touch a Sunday. And I was like, man, you're way ahead of it because to be
Yeah.
pushed like that, and you're not, you know, when we go to work, when we leave our families or even ourselves, we're trading our best asset, time, our time for money. So what do you want to trade that? It doesn't matter if somebody's getting $100 an hour or $20 an hour. It's the same time. And
Mhm.
so I tell you, maximize the value of your time because your time is just as valuable as the next person's time. But that person that's really making a profit is going to carry through and be a lot happier in the end. So,
Absolutely.
gents, thank you very much for being here.
Oh,
Again,
thanks
honor
for
to
having
see
us.
him.
Honor to be
And
invited.
you know, go check these guys out. The people that are right here online, go check them out. They're just amazing. There's the silent giant of the detailing industry. I don't know if I've mentioned it all week. You know, Jim Gogan, he's a Hall of Famer, and he's here, and he's pretty badass. So I think on every podcast I've mentioned that.
Mentioned Jim.
So yeah, I always think he's turning red. He almost, I mean, he's going to turn this color of shoes right now. So hey, everybody, take care. Stomp on that like button, share it. Everybody else, SEMA's just about a wrap. 3 more hours.
Yes, sir.
My eyes are tired. My feet are tired. I wore different shoes today because it's like I got to get some cushion underneath here. But I really appreciate it, guys. We'll see you at
Thank you.
Mobile Tech
Yes,
here
sir.
Yes,
shortly.
sir.
Thank
Absolutely.
you very much. Hey, have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas.
You guys
Thanks,
too.
Thanks,
Thanks,
for
Greg.
saying that.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Thanks.